Okay, so the playoffs are almost here. And this time last year, if I were to ask any Oilers fan how they were feeling, they would tell me that they're pretty pumped and this year is finally the year the Oilers will win the Cup. However, a lot has changed over the year. So I'm curious, Oilers fans, how are you feeling about your team this year heading into the playoffs? And that is exactly what we'll be discussing in today's video. Okay, yes, this is me. Oh gosh, I look terrible. I just want to say I've been probably the sickest I've ever been in my entire life this last week. I just wanted to make that very clear. I had a lot of things. I swear, everything's always coming at good old Trev over here, and whatever. We got to persevere, though, okay? That's what we do here at Above Average. So thanks for clicking on this video, guys. Really appreciate the support. And we're going to be talking about the Oilers. And we're going to be talking about your team heading into the playoffs. What are you guys thinking going into the playoffs? Are you guys pumped? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Are you looking around the league and being like, oh my gosh, everyone else is playing some really good hockey. And the Oilers, my team, they're not. What are you guys thinking? So drop a comment down below because I do read every single one and interact with every single one. If you don't believe me, just drop a comment and you'll see. And yeah, starting now, as you see, I finally got the clock up. The first official sponsor of Above Average at timetrackers.ca, www.timetrackers.ca. And for now on, the most liked comment for every video I'll be giving a shout out to. So at the end of this video, I'll be giving a shout out to the most liked comment in my previous video. So if you want to put something funny, drop a comment down below. If it gets a lot of clicks, I'm gonna talk about it in the next video. Okay, let's get right back into this video, guys. Where are my thoughts? I kind of want to share my thoughts as well, as well as get your thoughts. Where are my thoughts with this team? There's a few things. There's three things that I'm going to be discussing, and one, do I think that they're going to be as good as the Oilers in last year's playoffs? I mean, it's tough. It's tough to go back to the freaking finals. So, I mean, you'd have to be extremely optimistic if you think that's the case. And I'm sorry, I'm not being a naysayer. I'm just, this is my thoughts. I think the Oilers are going through it right now. They really are. Team play, but as well as just injuries, and you're kind of looking at that right now. Mattias Ekholm, I'll touch on him in a bit here, but McDavid, he's injured. You look at Leon Draisaitl, he just played his first game back. He probably could have played or could have waited like 2 more games, but that was a big one, and they needed him in for that one. So I see why he was in the lineup, but the Oilers are kind of going through it with injuries right now, and you got Stuart Skinner as well. So I mean, that sucks. But for sure, Mattias Ekholm, like he is the Oilers' defense, and I mean the Oilers' defense has kind of struggled this year, and so has he. And I don't think that's a coincidence. So I don't know. I think you can tell he's fighting. Like, it's going to be interesting at the end of the season, whenever that may be, what comes out with Mattias Ekholm, because he's been going through it a lot this season, and the Oilers have been pretty hush-hush about what he's been dealing with. He was dealing with a cold. He was playing lots of hockey. Obviously, he was in the Four Nations as well. And he had some lingering issues as well, but then he was sick, and so he's kind of just been fighting it this whole season. And I don't know, he's tired, you can tell. He's played a lot of hockey in the last year, and I really think it's starting to catch up on him, but he is not the Mattias Ekholm of last year. And if the Oilers want to go far, I mean, they need this guy. Why? Because he's amazing. He does so much for himself, and he does so much for the team, but he does so much for freaking Evan Bouchard. And Evan Bouchard, I mean, he's great offensively, but I mean, without Mattias Ekholm, Evan Bouchard would not be who he is. It's not even close, right? So that's one thing I want to say. So that's my one point. That's my one thing I'm worried at. Like, if I'm an Oilers fan, I'd be worried at, because it's Mattias Ekholm. Like, he brings a lot to the team. So there's that, and then there's the team play and inconsistency. This is another thing I've noticed throughout the season. There was a stretch where they were a bottom 10 team in the league, and that was to start the season. Now, maybe they weren't bottom 10, but they were a bottom feeder at the beginning of the year this year. And then they went on an absolute tear for maybe 2 months. They were actually they had the best record in the entire NHL. It was really good, and you're like, okay, this is kind of the Oilers you're so used to seeing. They start slow. This team has always started slow, and they were playing really good though. And so you're like, okay, this is awesome. Hopefully the Oilers can just do this for the whole season. But this is the Oilers. It's the Oilers. Obviously they're not going to do that. So they started sucking, and it was long before the Four Nations break too. Like they were playing. Their record really didn't show it, but they weren't playing great hockey. And then the Four Nations happened, and then they came back, and I mean, they just looked god-awful in that first game against Philly. And then who'd they play next? Washington, I think it was. And then they played Tampa, and then it was Carolina. Like, it was just, that was the worst stretch ever. Like, they looked just like an AHL team. They did. And then you get they get Wallman, and they make the Max Jones trade. Trent Frederick, he's stepping in maybe, I don't know. And then they look good against that first game against the Stars. But what I'm getting at is just the inconsistency of this team. Sometimes this team looks really good, and sometimes they don't. And like they're battling it out against the Calgary Flames. Like the Calgary Flames, the lowest scoring team in the league, and they barely squeak by. Like that's, I don't know. If you're an Oilers fan, like, you got to be concerned. You really do. Like, you have to. Like that's. I mean, I follow the Oilers, and I'm getting annoyed at it, like, for sure. So that's one thing. That's another thing, I guess I should say. That's very worrisome if you're an Oilers fan. But the biggest thing last year, which I was so big on the Oilers on, was you look around the league. Like, I wasn't terrified of the Colorado Avalanche. The Dallas Stars, I was like, okay, like, they're a pretty damn good team, but there was no team in the West that really I thought would give the Oilers scared the Oilers, if you will. So you look around this year, you've got the Colorado Avalanche, who are absolutely buzzing right now. Like, the additions they made this season, it's turned them into a cup contending team, and they were already really good, but they got way better. You got the Dallas Stars, obviously, who've been wheeling and dealing. You got the Winnipeg Jets, the league's best Winnipeg Jets, or are they the league's best? They're right up there, anyway. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the teams that are in the West this year are not the teams that were in the West last year. So that's got to terrify you if you're an Oilers fan. That has to. I didn't even mention the freaking LA Kings, and if the Oilers don't beat, they don't get home ice advantage if they don't beat them in the standings there. And the LA Kings have the best home record in the whole NHL. And I know the Oilers they've beat the Kings for the last few years now, but I mean, eventually that's gonna snap. It's gonna have to. That's how things work. You can't be 100%. Nothing's 100%, and so I don't know. It's there's a lot of things that are really making me think that the Oilers they might be in a really tough this year. They really are. And of course, you got the St. Louis Blues, who are just absolutely just dominating all teams. Who they played? Was it the Jets or was it the Capitals? I don't know. They're destroying any team they're playing right now, and Dylan Holloway is helping them, of course. But so what I'm getting at is I just. Are you worried? Should you be worried? I'm a little worried. I'm not going to lie. Could they be a first round exit this year? I don't know. I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to lie. I would not be surprised. And I'm not hating on the Oilers. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm not convinced that this team will go as far as they did last year. I'm really not. And I mean, they made some additions, and like the one hope is they've got, Trent Frederick. Maybe he'll make his appearance someday. And you got Evander Kane. So this team's going to get more physical, which is good and which is what they need. But I don't know. If you're an Oilers fan, I'd be a little scared right now. I really would. So yeah, guys, I'm just very curious. Drop a comment down below, as I do read and interact with every single one. What are your thoughts? Are you worried? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Let me hear it, please. And we're on the road to 6K subs. If you could help me get there, that would be dope. That would be really, really dope. So please subscribe. It's free. And yeah, it's that time of the video. I gotta make a jingle here, but yeah, timetrackers.ca. Thanks for hopping on board. Great people there. They're a Canada-based company. They got clocks in all over Alberta, all over Canada, which is really cool. So if you want a clock like this, definitely go check them out. www.timetrackers.ca. Sorry, I'm still sick. I swear, I hear myself. It's like 3 times in my head right now. But the most liked comment in the last video I did was from Platonic. The one thing that I learned as an Oilers fan and hockey fan is to not dwell on players that were traded. Holland should have done more to lock up Broberg and Holloway, but he didn't and left it to the next guy to deal with. I personally thought he would keep Holloway, but he showed us the drive he had in the playoffs, and that's why I grabbed him in my fantasy league, but no hard feelings. It's just business. If anything, the whole chaos of mismanagement made me understand the consequences of mismanagement. I got 6 likes. We need more likes than that in this video. Okay, so that's it. Take her easy, guys. I'm still not feeling the greatest. I'm gonna have a better, way better video coming in the next one. But take her easy. I'll see you in the next one. Don't be average when you can be above average. Peace.